we're about to go somewhere out now. Times to rise and elevation starts to drop down. Our little secret, don't kiss and tell, you're so bad. I'll probably see you in hell. Welcome to hell, baby. This is Podcast Hell.
The glasses are back. It's a new setup. This is the last week you're going to see that little running line. I'll tell you that right now because I'm going to order a thing that hides that. And then I'm telling you what, guys, the new podcast, there's a setup coming that you guys are going to see very soon. I'm going to stop talking about items in the room. I don't think it's an interesting thing for most people on the podcast. This shooting it straight on, this is not a good feeling, I'll be honest. Because I'm by myself, as you can tell, no guest to my left. To my right, there's no guest. It's going to be just me, you, and the thoughts in old Nago up here. But shooting it straight on with the lights really feels like I'm releasing a terrorist video. Like it feels like I should be cutting the head off of a troop at any moment now. I think it's two things. I used to have the desk. Terrorists don't have desks. Like they're in caves. They're on the move. Like they're not like locking down in one place. If you do, you're being a bad terrorist. You're kind of, getting a little mold under the flaps. You got to be on the move. It's not a young man's game. If you're an old terrorist, you're probably just, I don't know, you're probably living in Qatar. But I guess what I'm saying is like this feel, it's like the chair, no desk, lit, just me to you. I should be saying on some level, death to America, which I'm not saying that. I'm a pretty patriotic guy. But I don't know. It just gives. Also, the glasses do darken. I'm taking the glasses off. It's too intense. There, that's a little bit better. What's up, guys? How are you? I'm doing pretty good. I was in the woods. Spent some time in the woods with my thoughts. Man, it's crazy how getting in touch with nature really can calm you, to just be away from the phone and the technology and the constant after a couple days you don't need to scratch the itch. That's what I found being in the woods doing camping. By the way, doing camping lets you know that it's not a thing I do. But I did not miss the technology, and I did feel like a nice reset, kind of getting comfortable with your own thoughts. Like you wake up early when you're camping because if you're in the fucking woods, it's cold or raining, and you're just like, this sucks. But no, it definitely, I definitely thought I had a good mental health period in the woods and coming. This is how many ways can I say I didn't jerk off for a week, and it's like it just clears you. It's like your thought, you sounds exist in the wilderness that you'd never heard, colors you've never seen, tastes you've never tasted. You got to clean up your food a lot. We did have to clean up because of bears, and then at one point. We went on a hike. We actually went on a hike, and we went past a bear cave. It was like a cave, or what do you call it? Where they hibernate. In my mind, bears are shoving pine cones up their asses for hibernation. I don't think that's true, but somewhere I learned that they take their bare paw, and they go, and they shove pine cones up their own butthole. So they don't shit themselves awake during hibernation. They can't be true. There's so many things that you have in your head, and if you revisit them on accident during a solo podcast and you say it out loud, you're like, no way they're shoving pine cones up their ass. But that would be a good thing to comment on in the comment section if you're on YouTube right now. Let me know, how you liking the pod. And quick Google search, do bears do pine cone anal suppositories during hibernation? Is the whole idea that they just don't wake up at all during hibernation? They don't shit, they don't pee. It's crazy. How does the whole system know to shut down for that long. I mean, I don't know. I've taken some naps before. But a bear hibernation nap is pretty wild. And I remember when we were walking past it, a couple of people in our party were like, "Ooh, look at the bear. Look where the bear was. This is where the bears sleep." And I was like, "Let's get away from where the bears sleep. I don't want that. I don't need. There's a lot of experiences I don't need in my life. Chased by bears in the woods, not one. Just in case one of the bears is still hanging out. I don't need to see it. I could go on. I'm sure there's a Nat Geo. There's a fun little doc on bears and how they do things. I could correct some misunderstandings I have in my own life. Things like bears shoving pine cones up their ass during hibernation. I'll find out that way. Maybe I'll pick up a Bill Bryson, crack it open, get a couple pages into his stories about the Appalachian Trail. Don't need to be chased by bears. No thanks. I will say, we were talking about naps just now, and I thought the craziest nap I ever took was in college when I was studying for exams my freshman year during, is it first quarter? First semester? First semester. And I took all my gen eds that first year, so it was a lot of all my classes were stuff I wasn't majoring in that you had to kind of get out of the way, like math, or I had I think I had a science class, basic stuff to fill out the guration portfolio, and a lot of memorization. This was in 2003, and I guess ADHD medicine was out there. It wasn't as prescribed as it is now. And I had a cousin who took ADHD medicine, and, it definitely, worked on him, because if sometimes we would, not give it to him, and then he would get really mad and chase us around, and it was a whole thing. I'm not going to put my cousin on blast, but we knew it worked, because he was, a different person when he was denied the meds, and I was like, somebody just told me, it helps you study. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll try it. And I tried a little bit of math, a tiny bit. And I remember reading about, whatever it was, some history class, something I had no interest in. Again, just getting the gen eds out of the way, first semester, freshman year. And I'm reading my notes, and I'm like, oh my God, every time I would get to the end of the page, I was like, I can't wait to turn to get to the next page of information that I couldn't care less about. It was really, really it's a feeling I'll never forget. And it's just wow, that medicine really works. That, that meth, legal meth, it's actually meth. And so I, of course, abused it. And every time I would start to get tired, I would just take another pill. And I did that for almost 2 days. I just studied and would do that. And I took a couple naps here and there, but for the most part, just stayed awake and crammed for these tests. And when it was over, I remember I took my, whatever it was, my fourth or fifth gen ed exam. I went back to my dorm room and I fell asleep, and I slept for almost 24 hours. I pissed the bed. And when I woke up, my RA was banging the door being you have to leave. You have to pack up your car and go. They're kicking us out of the dorm. And I was I just almost pissed myself into oblivion. Not cool. I did not feel good on that whole drive home. I remember pulling over and puking. I OD'd basically on ADHD medicine. So that was definitely a learning experience. I mean, the other thing was that I'd never had better grades. My grades were amazing. I had a 4.0 GPA that first semester, and then it did that for the rest of the time. And in college, I didn't keep abusing the drug. But I can totally see why dudes would or ladies would take ADHD medicine and just crack it up and cut it up and snort it off of a hooker's ass or penis Whatever they want. Like I said, it's man or woman could be doing this, whatever the folks are identifying as. So yeah, I definitely. Anyway, that was a weird. I was in the woods. let's get back to the woods. So spending time in the woods, getting to hang out with family, which was nice. I had the other big thing we did was fantasy football draft, and this year I got into 2 leagues, which I might regret. I mean, 2's a lot. And might not be necessary. One's like a league with my brother and his friends, and then the other league is like my friends from college. And my brother's league, I can say Christian because he's been on the podcast, but that league's $100 buy-in. We did the draft, 12 drafts. Guess who's projected to win the league based on the draft? ESPN style. Number 1, you're looking at them right here. Birds beat the boys. BBTB. That's the name of the team. Crushed it. Got the first pick. Christian McCaffrey all the way. I got some sick players. I got Mahomes at quarterback. I got Evan Ingram at tight end. Who are my receivers? I know my third receiver is the guy in Cleveland that kind of sucked last year, but should be better. I got good players. It doesn't matter. Man, fantasy football, like the level of detail to which people get into it, really, I think it has to directly correlate to how little you're getting laid by your wife. There's no way that those charts aren't related to each other, because some people, when they're talking about setting up the league and stuff, and they're getting into like the points and the bonus rounds and those, okay, what's the rules and like what's the punishment, and like the more you've thought about that, the least you've motorboated the old lady. I'm totally guessing. I don't have any facts to go off of this. I don't know what kind of studies or Pew polls have been done on fantasy football and the lack of marital sex related to it. But I'm a little curious because I feel like I'm in a good place in my marriage, but I'm in 2 fantasy football leagues. Like, does that necessitate that the sex life takes a dive? I don't know. I'm going to try to not. One of the leagues is just a $20 buy-in, so it's like I'm not going to worry about it. Why did I completed it? Do you see that? Usually you do this and then you just go, but I gave it like a flourish, like he finished. Whoever I was jerking off, I think it's different. If you're, I don't know. Again, hit me in the comments if you're trying to portray with this motion that you don't really care about something. It's a jerk off, versus if you're talking about something and go, let me tell you something about it. This is saying everyone got what they wanted at the end. That's different. So I'll be careful not to release the doves at the end of that. But no, I don't know. I am excited. Football season is back. It's back. All right, are you ready? Are you ready for some football? I'm gonna cut that out. I didn't sound good singing that. Are you ready for some football? Come on, Hank. Bring us back. Take us back, Hank. Hank Williams had to stop singing Monday Night Football because his political views were to the right of Attila the Hun, as best I can remember. So he had to go. But no, I am definitely pumped. I'm pumped on football. It's Tuesday that we're recording this pod right now. But Thursday, that's going to be, it's Chiefs and Ravens. And then my boys, the Birds, we're going down to Brazil to play the Packers. That seems like a huge, huge mistake, just based on everything that's happening in Brazil right now. It's like crime rates are spiking. Like São Paulo, as you say it, São Paulo? I don't know, Sao Paulo, Antonio, the town, wherever the city is they're going in Brazil, it's like fucking on fire all around the city. I mean, which I guess you could say about LA for the last 15 years, but it looks pretty wild. They're saying like the air quality there is not great, which I'm assuming like there's no way the athletes are pumped to be there. Because it's like, it's the beginning of the season. You're trying to get into a routine. You're probably trying to go to a strip club or do some fun shit when you go out of town. You know, we all saw Playmakers, ESPN's Playmakers. We know what these guys are getting into. So Brazil, I mean, it sounds like they're just going to be in their hotel rooms and then play the game coughing. Obviously, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are going to beat the fuck out of the Packers. But they're just going to come right home. They're not getting any of the fun stuff. That's the whole reason to be in the NFL, you know? Just like massive orgies with Brazilian prostitutes, which I'm imagining they thought would happen, and now it won't. I feel bad. I feel bad for the boys. It's not right. Did you guys watch ESPN Playmakers? Do you guys know what Nobody gets that reference. That show, it's got to be like 20 years old now. But it was a show that ESPN made. And it was when, like, I think, like, all these, maybe it was even, like, before streaming service. It was, like, HBO was coming out with all this original programming. And ESPN was trying to compete. And they were like, let's do a gritty show about the NFL. And so it's like whatever. It's a fictional town. It's a fictional team. They never say NFL. But they do this season, and it's amazing. It's got a storyline with domestic abuse. It's got steroids. It's got CTE. It's got the guilt from playing a game where like one of the main characters. It starts with a dude that paralyzed the quarterback on the other team. That's the opening of the show. Like it just goes into all these. Whatever, infidelity on the road, Brazilian prostitutes. It goes into all those parts of the NFL that, like, you never really get with NFL shows. Like, you kind of get that sanitized version. And, and then as soon as the first season ended, the NFL was like, yeah, get rid of that or you're never going to see the NFL on ESPN again. They were like, fuck this. What are you doing? Well, why? This is $1 billion industry. Why are you airing out our dirty laundry with what basically amounts to a documentary on exactly what happens in the league? That's not the point. If you're the NFL, to let them do a show about you is to like tell the truth. Fuck that. And that's actually. Look, I don't know. I'm trying to watch more documentaries lately because I feel like my TV watching has gotten real dumb. And it's like, but then I'm watching docs and I'm like, these docs have like the docs have a lean too. The docs aren't just calling it down the middle. They're like, and just so you know, this is who we think shot Kennedy. It's like, just show me everything and let me decide that it was Martians. But they won't. They always got to say their bit. So now I'm like, I think the best way to get smart watching TV is just to watch like highly accurate TV shows, you know? The Wire, Playmakers. I should have a third example of a thing to watch. NYPD Blue. I don't know what like a third accurate TV show would be. But let me tell you something. If you're listening to this podcast on YouTube, throw it in the comments a third highly realistic TV show that I should get into. I don't know, maybe Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad was probably pretty accurate. It felt accurate. Again, I don't know, but it also felt pretty fucking dramatic too. I don't know. Tell me I hit record. I did. All right, 21 minutes. 10 more minutes and then I'm fucking out of here. Oh, never, by the way. Fucking Ikea. Should I even? Here's the thing about Ikea. We all got to stop going. Stop going. Go somewhere else. It's not that much cheaper. It's shit. You're buying shit. It's the worst customer service ever. None of the stores have phone numbers. They fucked up our order. I bought a desk, a raising desk that I can stand at and then sit at and then stand again. Yeah, I thought that might be good. Get a little walking pad under my desk so I can get moving during work. Get rid of some of these LBs. That was the thinking. And so I bought this desk. You have to pick out all your own fucking pieces. Hard to do since I don't work at Ikea, so I don't know the fucking pieces that you need. And then when I go to checkout, it's not letting us check out. And we go, did we get all the pieces we need? And the woman goes, yeah, you did. We're like, okay, we leave, come home. I hire a guy to assemble the IKEA furniture because you go to the fucking website to print off. They don't even put the instructions in the thing anymore. They make you go to the website to look up the instructions, and the instructions are like fucking illustrations. They didn't even write down the pieces anymore. It's like, why am I looking at fucking cave paintings of how to put together an IKEA desk? Just write down the fucking thing to do. Insane. So I have to hire a guy to come here, and he gets here, and he's like, yep, you're missing a piece. I'm like, great. Wasted money on the TaskRabbit for the guy to come over to build the desk because I'm not a man. So already I'm feeling vulnerable. Call IKEA. The lady's like, there is no phone number for the Burbank IKEA. I have to put in a case number for you to get the piece that you already paid for. And I'm like, just tell them to put the piece at customer service and I'll go drive there and pick it up. And she's like, okay, go. And then I go, before I get off the phone, can you verify that they have the piece? And she's like, hang on, puts me on hold. 15 minutes later, comes back, they don't have the piece. Oh, so you're just going to fucking send me there? An hour out of my day after already having to go there and sit through the fucking meatball extravaganza. She's like, the closest piece that it is currently in stock is Carson, California. It's 90 minutes away from my house. She wants me to drive 3 hours to go pick up fucking like screws and the hardware from my desk that they should have given me the day I picked it up. Okay, great. So I'm like, I'll go. Can you just make sure that the piece is waiting for me at Carson? And she's like, no, we can't do that. They don't have a phone number either. What is this thing with these companies that don't have phone numbers anymore? Like, why are we doing this to ourselves with technology? Are we making our lives better? Like, are we really going to be happy with nobody having a job? Like, not everybody's an artist. Not everybody's going to write a really nice book or, read a bunch of nice fucking essays on the human experience. Some people are just going to sit around, eat candy, and get fat, all right? It's not going to be good that nobody has anywhere to go in 10 years because we've automated away every fucking job that exists. So please, for the love of God, get a phone number at IKEA. It's a pretty big store. There should be a ringy-dingy-dingy somewhere in their customer service department. Am I wrong? The heads of 5 American soldiers will be... Okay, sorry. No, anytime I get passionate here, anytime I start to feel like, I'm feeling the blood pressure rise, I'm just like, should I be covering my face and making demands? It kind of seems like I should. This is a terrorism setup. I didn't mean to do it, but I did. I mean, I'm referencing hell. I gotta sneeze. I gotta sneeze. I think it's passed. All right. 26 minutes and 23 seconds. So close. So close to the end. Now I will, I have a show. I should have mentioned the show up top. I am really excited to get like some podcast stuff a little more set up. It's been a lot of travel and stuff like that. So I'm finding time in between to like do little things to, bring in what I need for the room. But it's getting there. It's going to be its own setup. Hopefully by the beginning of October, I'm going to kind of have everything laid out that I need. But everything's just been, it's just traveling. It's just when you travel and like we come back on a Sunday, it's like, oh God, when you got to do the full fucking day job thing and you had both weekends traveling back to back with the woods in the middle. It's too much. It's too much to like do creative stuff on top. That stuff, I don't know. It just takes the back seat. That's what happens. And you get a podcast like this where I should have been talking to the great, Ross Copeland. But instead, it's just this. It's just me. If you are listening to this on Tuesday or Wednesday, September 3rd or 4th, I have a show on the 5th that you can come check out. It's free. It's in Canoga Park, California. It's on my Instagram, at Erick Hellwig. Check it out. I don't get to do stand-up that much anymore. I did the Flappers Comedy Club Burbank Comedy Festival like 2 weeks ago, and that was fun. Had a good time there. I did like fucking 5 minutes. Who cares? I mean, the weight of doing such little time. I mean, now at this point, I'm like hardly worth it. I might have to send them a thing being like, no more spots unless they're 10 to 15. I can't justify leaving my house. I'd rather sit around and order some delicious Thai food, and take a photo of it and send it to my nutritionist. That's the other thing I did is I hired a nutritionist who has been on me. So I'm taking photos of every meal I eat and sending it to him. So yeah, I haven't had any fucking Starburst in like 2 weeks. 0 Starburst. I mean, it's probably good. I should probably stop eating like I'm a 10-year-old on fucking Halloween. I don't think that food is meant for 38-year-old dudes that are pre-diabetic. So yeah, I will say the accountability of having a dude that's gonna look at your food and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Every time I'm in the kitchen, I'm like, "I guess I'll have a fucking pear. Are you happy?" But here's the thing, man. I've had 2 pears in the last 8 days. They're pretty good. You guys gotten into pears lately? God damn. Pears, and I've been making smoothies with frozen fruit and veggies. And I didn't know this. When you freeze fruit, when you freeze veggies, there's 0 nutritional loss. So it's like eating fresh fruit. Like it's good for you. So I've been hitting smoothies pretty hard. I've been avoiding shugs. No more shugs, no sugar, and I haven't signed any predatory deals with Suge Knight, where he owns any creative content I create until my child dies. So that's been good. You got to avoid those predatory, as a white rapper, you got to avoid. You really got to avoid those. That's where they'll get you. Otherwise, you'll end up like Vanilla Ice, hanging over a balcony, begging to dance just one more time. So that is the podcast. Thank you guys for hanging out. As always, you guys know I appreciate the patronage and you hanging out. And if you could, I'm trying to do a better job of interspersing this into the podcast. But if you're on Apple Podcasts, please rate it 5 stars and say a little something nice. A 5-star review would be great. If you're on Spotify, there's a little button to rate the podcast 5 stars. That gets me a huge boost. And mostly if you're on Rumble or YouTube or Facebook or anywhere where you're watching the video, hit me with a comment. Share the video with friends you think would like it. That's always great. The best way to spread the podcast is word of mouth. That's better than any type of marketing that I could do. I don't do any marketing. So basically, it's the only way. So tell your friends. And I'll see you next week. And say goodbye to that cord. Kiss it goodbye. All right. Later.